What's good, y'all? This your boy Black G92. Now, for today, I'm going to do it more so this afternoon since I had a very short shift at my job. Which is cool, I guess. It would be nice if you stay longer, but sometimes you don't get everything you want. And not to mention, there is a bit of a blessing too. We didn't have to help out another team on the job that just throws at us multiple buildings that they seem to can't do for themselves. So we only had to do one today. Yesterday was crucial. We was up in that motherfucker till like 3 something in the fucking afternoon. That's how crucial it was at my job. But anywho, I'm not gonna dwell too much on it. Let me know how y'all felt about the Super Bowl this past Sunday. Like, did y'all enjoy it? I know I did. Like, just to see two different teams that like haven't been to the Super Bowl in like decades. It was pretty dope to see, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So it's pretty dope. And I was rooting for Bengals because I have family in Ohio that support our fans of Bengals, and of course they're underdogs and such. I figured, you know what, if I had to pick one or the other, I would just go with Bengals. But hey, the Rams ended up winning eventually due to like flags to be thrown and such near the last minute or two going in when it was like the Rams go at the ball, whatever. So hey, the best team won under the pressure, and the Bengals folded. You know what I mean? So, but hey, it was pretty dope though, because it's like the Bengals didn't let up neither. There was a hit. They actually got ahead, like within the second half. It was around the second half. They got 20. Then Rams ended up winning for 3 more points. And I was expecting the game to go into overtime because how close they were. But like I said, one team like succeeded under pressure, other one bent, folded, and broken under that pressure. You know what I mean? So hats off to the Rams for winning, and I know they probably still in bliss about the whole thing. You're gonna see a bunch of people that's gonna hop on the bandwagon and act like they're Rams fans, wearing the jerseys. Even celebrities, they're gonna rock the jerseys and the hats and flash the little money they won from their bets. I was quite sure that all that went down after the game. Later on that night, people flashing their money in the game. I should have made the live stream, but I'm talking quite a bit. I ain't even got to the whole point of my reaction video. But hopefully for those that do watch this, stick around to see the reaction. Anyway, how y'all feel about the halftime show? That one was fucking awesome. I might explain more probably later on tonight. And not even another reaction, but more so another live stream. I'm going to do another live stream tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but later on tonight. So stay tuned for that so I can discuss how my personal opinions on the halftime show. So hope y'all stay tuned for that. And let me know what y'all think about not only just the Super Bowl, but also the halftime show. Let me know what was your favorite performer, favorite performance, favorite moment, song, lyric, or like just anything about the halftime show that y'all thought was great, and favorite commercial, least favorite commercial. Let me know in the comment section. But anyway, I'm getting to the subject at hand finally. This is going to be the second part of, what's the name of this YouTuber? Shit. Well, damn, I just reminded the fucking shit. Hold up. Marvelous Videos, 21 Unthinkably Malformed Cenobites that appeared in Hellraiser movies, origin stories explored. This is going to be the second part of my reaction to that video, because I had to split it because it is a long ass video, but I want to split it to the second. I might end up splitting to a third part, but anyway, I'm gonna get to it. So I'm see what the remainder of this countdown is looking like in about 3, 2, 1.
Interestingly, Leviathan connected itself with Channard through an extension, and this gave him immense powers, like the ability to eject tentacles from his hands. These tentacles would end in several tools meant for torture.
Yeah.
By the end of the film, Kirsty was being saved by the other Cenobites, particularly the female Cenobite, and they all fought the Doctor, but to no avail. His death only became possible when the Lamet configuration was opened again, and Leviathan retreated. This led to the decapitation of Channard, and a very bloody affair.
Woo! Very bloody indeed. Yeah, this is where I stopped at, but ended up reminding it before it started.
Number 9. Pseudo-Cenobites. The Pseudo-Cenobites appeared in the third installment of the Hellraiser franchise and helped Pinhead in his quest. They're dubbed Pseudo because they were converted by Pinhead on Earth, unlike the pure Cenobites who are converted in Hell.
Interesting.
They're handmade, Joey. The shadow of my former troop.
Let's take a look at them.
Yeah, yes indeed.
A. Barbie. In the film Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, Pinhead discovered that he was once a World War I British Army captain named Elliot Spencer. This knowledge split him into two parts, one of which was trapped in a pillar called the Pillar of Souls, which featured distorted faces and writhing figures.
Ooh.
The pillar was purchased by J.P. Monroe, the owner of the Boiler Room Club. At the club, an attendee named Terry met Monroe, who planned to feed her to Pinhead. But Terry struck a deal with
that girl there looks good. Like she can definitely get the business for sure. I didn't mean to pause to say. Well, I just had to say that because she does look good. I wonder how she looks now. The actress.
And agreed to sacrifice Monroe in return for being transformed into a Cenobite herself.
Interesting.
Pinhead is freed from the pillar and wreaks havoc on the clubgoers. One of these unsuspecting victims of Pinhead's Boiler Room massacre was a bartender named Rick Bloodstone. He was skilled at his job and worked in tandem with his boss until he became Pinhead's victim, his entire head wrapped in coils of barbed wire. The wires shut his eyes, making him perpetually blind. As a Cenobite, he carried along his bartending skills and always kept a glass and a mixture of gasoline. He could breathe fire and used it to light the gasoline to construct makeshift Molotov cocktails. Barbie was an interesting Cenobite, and they could have done great things with him, but he never reappeared after the events of the third film. Watch out for the scene when Barbie burns a group of cops with his fire.
Have you seen what he did to me, you little bitch? Have you seen?
B. Camerahead. Like Barbie, Camerahead was also a pseudo-Cenobite and used to work with Joey, the female protagonist of the third Hellraiser film. He was a cameraman for Joey, who was a local news reporter. After learning about the events at the Boiler Room Club, Joey requested him to meet her there. But since the cameraman was closer to the venue, he reached it earlier and was turned into a Cenobite by Pinhead. Joey had learned from a videotape of Kirsty that the lament configuration was the only way to stop Pinhead and his minions.
She's telling the truth, Joey.
Naturally, she ran away with it, and Pinhead employed Camerahead and others to go look for it. As the name suggests, this Cenobite had a camera stuck into his right eye and a film roll where his ear was supposed to be. Whatever Camerahead filmed in his body-fitted camera could be exploded telepathically through his mind. But what's a Cenobite that cannot impale people? To achieve violent ends, the camera was able to double as an impaling device to slice and slash victims. Interestingly enough, Cenobites are known to forget their past after conversion, but pseudo-Cenobites like Camerahead and Pistonhead seem to remember theirs even after being converted. In another contrast, Camerahead is the only Cenobite known to have facial hair.
Pretty dope. They all got the same name, like...
C. CD Head. Jimmy Hammerstein was the DJ of the Boiler Room Club.
CD Head, Camerahead, like, we'll come up with some different names.
Another victim of Pinhead's wrath. At least before his transformation, from what we were able to infer from his little conversation with Joey about Terry's whereabouts, he seemed to be a person of manners. However, Pinhead happily impaled his skull with 5 CDs and embedded them all in his head. But since Pinhead was a crafty demon, he embedded 1 CD into each of Jimmy's eyes and 1 in his mouth, leaving him blind and mute. The character was wrapped in chains and wore a leather mask. CD Head used his CDs as shurikens to impale victims. In most cases, the actor who plays the human prior to conversion also plays the Cenobite. But for CD Head, Brent Bolthouse played the human Hammerstein, while his Cenobite counterpart was played by Eric Wilhelm.
Painful way to die, indeed. Have CDs through your mouth,
wouldn't believe what I can
eyes, on your head.
Dreamer. The Dreamer Cenobite was originally the lover of the owner of...
Damned. Fuck Ted K. What the fuck is that? Boo.
Of the Boiler Room Club. In the film, Joey came across a clubgoer named Terry who told her that chains had emerged from a strange puzzle box that she found near a pillar and proceeded to tear another clubgoer's body to pieces. As mentioned earlier, Terry struck a deal with Pinhead. She was a vulnerable and destitute young girl who was always taken advantage of, and these problems gave wind to her desire for power and control. Ultimately, she resorted to serving Pinhead as his pawn.
That's how they get you. First one.
After her conversion into a pseudo-Cenobite, Terry could dream all she wanted of all that she could never have. This was her heaven and her hell. As Pinhead rightly pointed out, Cenobites are angels to some and demons to others.
Demons to some, angels to others.
Like the other pseudos, Terry could also remember her past and could even speak much more than others. In what can be called a sad reality, Terry and Monroe were apparently in love, but the two turned against each other in a moment of crisis. At the end of the film, Joey managed to open the Lamet configuration and sent all the pseudos, including Terry, back to hell, leaving her fate as the Dreamer Cenobite unknown.
Sex, baby.
Sounds like
This is better than sex.
Sounds like it's
Pistonhead. We've been speaking about J.P. Monroe for quite a while now, but what really happened to him? Well, as you know, Pinhead was stuck inside the pillar and needed to kill people to rejuvenate himself and break free from his prison. So, he collaborated with Monroe, who provided him with unsuspecting victims.
Man, those boxer briefs look like some Under Armours. Like, damn. I had no idea they made those back in the 90s. They probably still got available out of different stores anyway. So.
When the time came for Pinhead to hunt his last victim in a cruel and selfish act, Monroe called Terry and served her to Pinhead. However, a fight broke out between them and Terry overpowered Monroe. She knocked him down and made a side deal with Pinhead for the Cenobite to take Monroe instead. Pinhead converted Monroe, sticking 2 pistons into his head, and Pistonhead was born. In all the scenes that Pistonhead appears, the piston in his head remains in motion, which is disgusting to look at.
Yeah, very disgusting indeed. And painful to look at. As we... Whoa.
Number 10. Angelique. Angelique was introduced in Hellraiser Bloodline. Her story goes as far back as 1796, when the French toy maker named Philippe Lamarchand made the greatest work of his life, the Lamet configuration, also called the Lamarchand box. He made the box at the request of a rich man named Leil. However, Leil and his assistant Jacques used the device to summon a Cenobite named Angelique.
Interesting.
Jacques killed his master, and Angelique agreed to work under him on the condition that he would never defy a deed sanctioned by Hell or Leviathan. Fast forward 200 years later, Angelique finds the whereabouts of the configuration and tricks a security guard into opening it. Pinhead appears immediately, and after a brief tussle due to a difference of opinion between the two, they agree to join forces. The film is about an Elysium configuration, or the anti-Lamet configuration, that could kill all the Cenobites and stop them from ever stepping foot on Earth again. Originally, Angelique wanted to destroy the Elysium configuration, but thousands of years of life had left her frustrated. She was probably the only Cenobite who wanted the destruction of the Cenobites and of Leviathan himself. Unlike regular Cenobites, Angelique was actually the demon princess of Hell, the daughter of the god Leviathan. She was bald, but her tight leather suit was something to behold. We think beauty does lie in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guarantee some people thought that was attractive looking for show. Maybe... outside of film, of course, like people that probably watched the film thought she was attractive, or whatever. So hey, she does have that whole BDSM thing going on. So hey, wouldn't surprise me if she had some admirers that watched the film per se. Yeah, man, that's an interesting premise though. He wanted to teach them about the one story.
Number 11. Siamese Twins. In the 1992 film Hellraiser 3 Hell on Earth, Joey buries the puzzle box in a pile of concrete in a building under construction. In the next installment, the 1996 film Hellraiser 4 Bloodline, it is revealed that the building belonged to an heir of Lamarchand himself. Security guards Michael and Mark Bradley are twin brothers assigned to safeguard a new Lamet configuration exhibit. The night before the exhibition, they run into Angelique and Pinhead. Pinhead, being Pinhead, senses their fear of being separated from each other by fate, and in a horrifying act to assuage this fear, he conjoins the two of them as a pair of Siamese twins. They are later sent to Hell, where the engineers can complete the final transformation. One of the most fascinating scenes which involve the Siamese twins is the one in which they separate from each other and rejoin, only to trap one Captain Edwards between them. The process not only crushes them, but also absorbs Edwards. The Siamese Twins died once and for all in outer space when Paul Merchant activated the Elysium configuration. The twins were both mute and lacked one arm each because of the fusion. In a way, their conjoining was paradoxical, because despite being together forever, they could never see each other. Brilliantly done, Mr. Pinhead.
Yeah, very brilliant. Very brilliant indeed, Pinhead, for sure, because going blind and just losing motor skills, other motor skills, like, it's a terrible way to go. And not to mention, like, I keep on repeating painful, but them shits look painful. And man, mid-90s CGI was not always good. You know what I mean? It's depending on the budget, because I know the fourth Hellraiser, based on reviews I've seen of other people, mainly Decker Shadow's review of during this whole summer of Hellraiser, back in the gap when I watched it. Like, the CGI was done on a very limited budget, for sure. You could definitely tell the budget was not high for those sequences when they separated. It's like, goddamn, like some PS1 type graphics right there, for real. But I might end up like, well, you know what? I'm going to let this play on out, man. We still like a 29-minute mark.
Number 12, Stitch. As much as the Cenobites are known for inflicting pain on others, they are also known for the obnoxious ways in which they were transformed from humans to the hellish creatures they are now. Stitch was a pale white Cenobite whose facial skin was burned, peeled off, and then stitched back. But there's another catch. They didn't just put back her skin, they put it back in the opposite direction. Of course, her mouth, her eyes, and ears were sewn so that she became mute, blind, and deaf. But like other Cenobites, even with all these abnormalities, she could easily find her way. In the 2002 film Hellraiser 6 Hellseeker, Kirsty Cotton returned, and this time her husband Trevor was the antagonist, trying to steal her fortune. However, Kirsty opened the Lament configuration and made a deal with Pinhead in which she offered him 5 souls in return for hers.
I will bring you 5 souls in exchange for mine.
Talk about a good deal.
While Kirsty helped get the victims to the Cenobites, Stitch reaped their souls. After this, Stitch shapeshifted into one of Trevor's mistresses and killed him with her metal mask. The character appeared again in the 2005 sequel Hellraiser 7 Deader.
Deader. What kind of name is...
Number 13, Surgeon. Another interesting Cenobite who appeared in Hellraiser 6 Hellseeker was the Surgeon, former surgical doctor who willingly accepted Pinhead's path to escape mental pain. Deacon Vranian was a dexterous and famed surgeon who never knew failure. However, he had never operated on someone he loved, so when he performed surgery on his wife, she died on the operating table. You might wonder how it was possible for such a skilled man to make a mistake when it came to his wife. Well, the truth is, the mess up happened because it was his wife. With other patients, he never had a personal bonding, and hence there was no scope for anxiety. Anyway, the incident left him devastated and he lost his sanity. All he wanted was to forget about it, to not see himself as the culprit, to shut the world behind him. He finally found solace and escape in the form of the Lament configuration, and when Pinhead offered him a way to seek all he wanted, Deacon accepted the offer. Naturally, the surgeon was operated on himself, turning into a Cenobite who wore a black leather coat and carried various tools, chains, and weapons.
Came prepared to fuck shit up.
This day was coming.
Number 14, Bound.
Alright, before this one gets started, I'm going to pause right here so then I can pick it up probably sometime... Probably tomorrow for certain, after I do a reaction to Tom McDonald and Adam Calhoun's New World Order music video. Still have to get around to reacting to that, as well as another reaction requests in the comment section. So, yeah, this is going to be the second half of the 21 unthinkably malformed Cenobites that appeared in Hellraiser movies, origin stories explored. So, I definitely enjoyed these new additions to the countdown, like, for real, especially with the ones from the lesser films from the franchise, outside of like the main 3, more so the first 2 is, of course, and also the trilogy, going on to the other ones that were made on the low budget, and the only thing that have anything to do with each other is just all of them had Pinhead in it. Most of the time at the last minute when they make a whole different movie. The history behind these films is something interesting within itself, aside from all the different Cenobites that appear in the latter films, that is. And got me interested in actually sitting through them. Like sometime in the future, just to sit through how bad the later films were, just and also marvel at the different type of Cenobites. Now I heard the third movie was somewhat of a good was a good follow up to the first two films per se, and a lot of people said it was the last official Hellraiser movie aside from Forward and not. I think they made 11 Hellraiser movies. That's insane. But anyway, whoever and shout out to the special effects department like that made these different Cenobites and have them distinct from one another, despite from the repeat of the piston head and CD head and the other camera head. Like they just rhymes like damn. So they could come up with different names to have them separate from each other. And Stitch had a lot of interesting backstories, especially Dreamer, Pistonhead, and also Stitch. Like, did I say Stitch? Yeah, I said Stitch and the doctor that becomes a Cenobite because he killed his wife while doing surgery. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this on up. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. And also be sure to send me any type of reaction requests you have. And hit that notification button, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well if you want to stay tuned for what I have in store on this channel. Follow me on my social media accounts, which is posted in the description box below. This is your boy Black G92, about to sign off. Holla, it's your boy. Peace.